Good morning, everyone. So I want to review proper form for a kettlebell swing really quickly because it is one of the best things that you can do. It's one of the most efficient ways to work out with kettlebells because you get strength training and you get cardio all in one. So if I only had 15 minutes to work out, you better believe I would be grabbing a kettlebell, and that's exactly what I would be doing. Now, kettlebells are fantastic, and we're just talking about a swing today because that's really all I have programmed into our workouts. But if done improperly, yeah, they could wreak havoc just like any other movement that if you do it improperly, it could cause harm to your body. So a couple key points I want to focus on. I've got my kettlebell here. This is a 35-pound kettlebell. I don't expect that everyone will be using a 35-pound kettlebell. I do think 25 pounds would be great for swings for most people. 15 pounds might be a little bit lighter, but when you're working on your form, it's okay to start lighter and then go from there. So first off, the grip. Notice my wrists are long. My knuckles are rolling down towards the ball of the kettlebell. So we have the ball, and then we have the horns or the handle. So I'm holding on to the horns here. Knuckles are rolling down. The stance that you have, you're about shoulder width distance apart. Your toes are going to angle out slightly. We don't want them too turned out. Then it's going to be hard to hinge at our hips. And I mean, forward would also actually work out just fine. So whatever feels most natural in your body, toes forward or a little bit turned out. Now the thing with the kettlebell swing, it is a hinging movement. It's not a squat movement. So your hips don't lower down at all. Rather, your hips move back and front, back and front. And actually, it's your hips that drive this movement. So you guys know deadlifts? That is a hinge movement. Kettlebell swings are the exact same thing. The main difference between a deadlift and a kettlebell swing is that our chest is not going to lower nearly as much for our kettlebell swing. And in the action of it, if you want to get warmed up, you're going to imagine that you're going to jump off the ground, but your feet never lift. So you're going to send your hips back and you're going to explode up. So pretend that you're going to jump off the ground. You spring load your body and then you're going to jump up. It's that same action. And one thing that's different about kettlebells than regular weights is that we do use momentum. So you are not going to try and control your kettlebell and lift it up towards your chest or to chest height and then lower it down. There's absolutely no way I could do that with a 35-pound kettlebell. But when I use the strength and power of my hips and my core to move this weight, you better believe it's no problem to lift that weight up in line with my shoulders. And that is one of the biggest mistakes that I see people doing when they're using kettlebells. They're trying to control the weight up and down. You do not control the kettlebell. You hold on. You have, your grip on it, but you let momentum take over. So I'm going to do a couple, and then I'm going to point a few things out, what to do, what not to do. So I'm going to come up here just in case you can't see my feet. Shoulder width distance, toes turned out slightly. From the side, my hips go back, and then I thrust them forward. So you'll notice my chest didn't come all the way down. Also, my hips never went forward. They never went in front of my shoulders. Your hips stop right underneath your shoulders. And what gets your hips to stop is the strength of your core and your inner thighs. So Stacy, you were asking about squeezing the glutes. I don't have time to squeeze my glutes at the top of the movement. I'm hugging my inner thighs. Now, one thing you could not see from the side is how close the kettlebell is to my groins. So see, it's right there. It's right there on my crotch right now. Hips go back, forward. You don't need to go real down low, okay? I like to keep it close to my inner thighs. And I guess, Stacy, now that I say that, I do feel my glutes engaging, but it's by way of my inner thighs. When I hug my inner thighs, then my glutes automatically turn on. For these kettlebell swings, we're just lifting to the bridge of our nose. There is a kettlebell swing that goes all the way up and overhead. I don't coach that, I'm not in person, just because so many things could go wrong from here to here with our shoulders, and I don't want to be responsible for that risk. So yes, I didn't go too far forward. I don't bend my knees. It's simply a hinge at the hips, drive them forward. Hinge, drive, hinge, drive. This is what you absolutely do not want to do. Do not do that. Do not ever do that. I could feel the pressure at my low back right then and there. If you do that, just put the kettlebell down. Do not do kettlebell swings if you cannot stop your hips underneath your shoulders. Do skier swings if you need to, but even then with your skier swings, you're not thrusting your hips beyond your shoulders. It's not like this. You bend, it's a hinge and a thrust, hinge and a thrust, and you're using the momentum to move the weight, whether you're doing skier swings or kettlebell swings. So take home story, it's a hinge movement. Hinging, not squatting. See the difference? Hinge, squat. With our kettlebell swing, we are hinging. Use momentum to your advantage. Do not try and control the kettlebell up or down. You are fighting a losing battle. The reason they are so effective is because they use these largest muscles in our body. We're going to use these largest muscles to move this weight, get our heart rates up. The other thing is, don't thrust your hips farther forward than your shoulders. Make sure you stop the hips right underneath the body. So hinge, swing, stop. Hinge, swing, stop. And then with those cues, you should not feel any pain in your lower back. It's a great workout. Oh, the one thing you may not have noticed, my feet stay pretty planted. You don't rock and roll from the balls of your feet to the heels or anything. Your feet stay grounded, and I'm pressing through all four corners of my feet so that I know that I have got a nice solid foundation from which I can then hinge and then thrust and power forward. Hinge, thrust, and power forward. So if you guys have any further questions on this, let me know. Like I said, kettlebells are like the best thing that you can do, and if I was going to invest in any money in a home gym, it would be kettlebells and bands and a bench. So if you have more questions, let me know. Otherwise, enjoy your weekend, and I'll talk to you guys soon.